Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by Mac Voices Magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like Mac Voices, Mac Voices Magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at macvoices.com/magazine or search for Mac Voices Magazine on Flipboard. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is a talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, the road to Macstock is winding down. I keep saying that, but this time I really mean it because we have the very last presenter I've been able to get our schedules together, and this is the last presenter. So now you will have heard from all the presenters that are going to be presenting in Woodstock, Illinois in July. I'm happy to welcome back to the show Kirsten Sia of Free Range Coder. She's going to tell us what she's going to be talking about at Macstock. Kirsten, it's great to see you.
Great to see you also, Chuck. I'm really excited about Macstock this year. Getting to see all the Mac aficionados and all my friends and colleagues again. It's going to be a blast.
It is. And this year, I promise, I'm going to keep everything organized, and you're not going to have to drive me back to the hotel for a cable. So
we'll be there.
And I appreciated it last year. This year, you're going to take it a little bit differently, though. You're going to be talking about a little bit of automation.
Yeah. Last year, we just dipped our big toe into automation, and to use the Automator application is still in Sierra, and hopefully it'll be in High Sierra as well. And what it gives us is the power to do mundane tasks like changing file names, change all your file names for all your files with sequence numbers and so on. That's what we did last year. This year we're taking it a little further. Not only are we going to try and change file names, but we're going to do something even more interesting. We're going to see if we can couple it with the image processing capabilities that are built into Automator, part of the system, baked in. So we want to do things like, we're going to give it a try and resize the images. And we'll talk people through what Automator is, where to locate it in your applications, and how to create an Automator script and do things like, and this year we're focusing on images, some image processing stuff, resize images, for example, and we'll take a look at that. And there'll also be a hands-on session after the deep dive that we'll go through hands-on and go through live, hopefully, without any hang-ups and hold-ups, the entire sequence of clicks and selections and so on that will take you through doing image processing using Automator.
Kirsten, I'll confess right here and now, there's some things I've automated. There are other things that I look and think, okay, I know I could do this in Automator, or I could automate this process, but I don't have time right now, so I'll just do it by hand. And then, you do it 20 or 30 times and you think, I really got to do this. And I always get a little bit stuck on things because it seems like, at least for my projects, I always want to make that individual little tweak. And I don't feel like let's just take resizing pictures for a second. I always am concerned about, okay, if I go through this process, take up this time, and then the aspect ratio is off and my pictures look stretched or squished or whatever. Is that something that's pretty easy to eliminate or address in Automator?
Well, one of the things that we want to look at, most pictures are 4:3. Most cameras give you 4:3, and you typically want something that you want to quickly do and send. For example, put it up on Facebook, and you don't want to send that multi-megabyte file. For example, you want to send them a nice, say, a 1024 by 768 image, perhaps. And one of the things we want to do is to drag and drop 20 pictures maybe that you've curated from your last photo shoot of flowers or whatever, and you want to make them one size, maybe put a little copyright notice on the bottom. That's also possible. We might even look at that, how we can glom together two images, and you drag and drop a number of pictures. We can make Automator rename those images, even though the files are different, and put a serial number at the end, and resize them to an appropriate size. Even change the JPEG compression levels. I think we can do that in Automator as well. That the image processing capabilities will let us do. So it's I believe in amortizing time. You spend X amount of time now, and it's something that you do all the time. Okay, I have to convert this audio file to MP3. I have to do things. Why not think about a little automated application that you can drag and drop something to, and it does everything for you. So yeah, save it now or spend it in small increments later.
And so everything you're going to be showing is built into Automator. I'm not having to create anything.
Yes,
It's just a matter of taking the blocks and putting them together.
that's correct. Yes. Yeah. So much power.
Yeah. Do you find that people are intimidated by this kind of thing, or does Automator give that easy entry gateway into automating things?
I believe Automator is a way forward for people who want to get repetitive things done, because a lot of people just say, oh, I want to rename all these images. I don't want to see pic_001 and so on. It came off my camera card. I want to rename it something like the pictures from the 4th of July with all these numbers on them, for example. And Automator can do that for you. And while it's renaming all these files, why not resize them at the same time as well? Make the images a little smaller. I keep the originals, but I also make these so I can send them in an email or post them on Flickr or on Facebook and so on for my friends to have a look at. So I don't have to send a huge file up there. Rely on Facebook to do all the image compression. Yeah.
So that brings up an interesting question for this particular example. What is it that we are using to compress these images? Is it taking them out, let's say, to preview and compressing them, or is it using another tool within the Mac OS?
I believe it's preview, because preview lets you do resizing and so on. If you run up Automator, you can see a whole bunch of plugins off to the side, and image processing, I believe, goes under preview, and that's where that's applied. Now, if you've got third-party applications like Pixelmator and what was my other favorite, Acorn, Automator can import some of their functionality as well, and you can bind all that functionality in. Yeah, there's so much to explore.
Yeah, and that's another question I wanted to ask you to be able to clear about. With Automator, obviously you're tapping into Mac core functions and things that the Mac can do. But is Automator, can you tap into other programs, let's say like Pixelmator or Acorn or I don't know what else, as part of your Automator scripts? And if so, how difficult is that to do?
Well, it depends on what program. For example, I noticed Pixelmator after I installed it and I started Automator, a whole slew of capabilities showed up. There are also some for Adobe as well. I believe you can do stuff if you've got Acrobat installed, and I'm trying to remember which other. I know Acorn for sure put some capabilities into the Automator, those little things you could drag and drop and filter data through. So yeah. But the basic set it's pretty powerful. You can edit text, you can open new documents, you can paste stuff, and as developers build plugins that work with Automator, that makes people's capabilities more flexible. And the Mac is a growing platform, so as more applications come up and developers put in these hooks so that Automator can access their capabilities, that makes it even more powerful. It's, to me, one of those rarely spoken of and undiscovered, truly a gem in the utilities toolbox of. They wanted to make it simple enough. Apple wanted to make it simple enough for people to use and just connect these blocks together and let it go. Now, what I really, really would like to see is how workflow on the iOS platform, which Apple recently acquired, how that might translate into some new system scripting environment on the Mac. That's something I really would like to see, because workflow is pretty powerful.
Everyone that I know that gets into automation, it's funny. It seems like they kind of, that's not true. Some dive right in. some resist it a little bit, but once they get there and start playing with it, all of a sudden it's like this world opens up and they see all these things that they can automate.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes that's one of the biggest challenges is recognizing the things you do repetitively and realizing that you could save yourself a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. I find I do the same things at work. I have scripting tools at work, and if I need to go process a spreadsheet, a comma-separated variable file that's standard format, I use scripting languages like Python, which have got built-in comma-separated or tab-delimited file processing, and run that. And Python is built into every Mac. It's surprising that a lot of people don't realize that the Mac, despite its really nice graphical user interface, underneath it's pedal to the metal Unix. So you can run a command prompt and run all kinds of snazzy things. Really impressive, especially if you want to keep track of changes to your files. There's Git that you can use. If you want to compile, you can always get Xcode, but there are other compilers you can get. The different languages that are already pre-installed onto your Mac. And if ever you want to run a server, oh yeah, $20 buys you Mac OS server, which is incredible. So there's a lot you can do with a Mac, just from running it and doing word processing and image manipulation. There's so much power in a Mac that it just amazes me. That stuff that comes low cost or standard.
Yeah. Now we want to be careful because I don't want to scare people when you start talking about, well, you can run Unix. It's like, oh my God, I could, they freak out completely. So the kind of things you're going to be showing at MacStock are going to be things that pretty much anyone can do because again, it's just drag and drop.
Drag and drop, and set a few fields. Oh, I want my image to be this size, and then put a little icon on your desktop, drag your images to it, and automation happens.
In the deeper dive, because you mentioned that you're going to be doing a deeper dive session, is that something that you want people to bring, maybe projects they would like to have automated or things that they would like to do, some ideas, or is it going to be principally focused on more information on what you show on the main stage?
Yeah. The main stage should be just running through a static presentation. I like to show people a dynamic presentation on how the scripts are created so that it clicks and people can see, oh, it's automated located in this folder. They can double click it, it runs. Here's how you select things. So it'll be more of dynamic demonstration. I will also include, like I did last year, I really love the rapport with the audience, and I get all kinds of questions and comments and tips that I learned from the audience as well. So that really helps everybody.
It's funny how that happens. You're the one up there, but inevitably, even during the presentation, but often afterwards, somebody will come up and say, "Hey, did you know this?" And it's one of the beauties, I think, of the Mac operating system of iOS. I'm sure there are probably things about tvOS and watchOS as well. There's so many subtle little things that you just it's tough to know all of them. And if somebody sees you doing something, they will come up and say, "Hey, you can do it better, or easier, or faster."
Oh yeah,
and that's just that's so much fun.
Yeah, it's what Dave Hamilton says. Let's all learn 4 new things each time.
Yeah, and it seems like that happens just about every presentation. I've learned at least 4 new things.
There you have it. Yeah. Excellent. That's why I love going to MacStock. Always learning.
Well, now, this is your second or third year as a presenter?
Second year as a presenter.
Okay. And you felt obviously you had a good enough time. You wanted to come back and do it again.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, Kirsten, obviously you're going to be on stage at MacStock. That's where folks are going to want to see you. But if they can't make it to MacStock, or if they want to find out what your other projects are, where can they find you?
Well, freerangecoder.com is my website. I usually post any presentations that I give up on that. There'll be links to my presentation up on that site. I usually share them on SlideShare, but I'll post the link on freerangecoder.com. My other passion is bicycling, so that consumes quite a bit of my time. But yeah, when I get a free moment, I will throw things up at freerangecoder.com.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in July in Woodstock, Illinois. We're going to have a lot of friends.
Definitely.
A lot of fun with our friends and meet some new friends as well.
Yeah, definitely. See you soon.
We'll see you there. Folks, I've been telling you this for literally months. Please, MacStock2017.com. We want you to come and have as much fun as I'm going to have, as Kirsten is going to have, as everyone that we've talked to is going to have. So please join us. There's plenty of time to still get your hotel room, get tickets, and be there. MacStock2017.com. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the Mac Voices blog, the Mac Voices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com, bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.